And in this particular episode, we focus on the paper that I have just outlined that's entitled Unsung and Unstruck: The Power of Undiscovered Teachers and Their Unpopular, Unheard Practices of Sanskrit Study as Nada Yoga. So from this paper, the final project submitted for the class at the end of next week will be this special episode of the podcast, The Art of Living High, that was started in my first semester of this MA program in yoga studies at Naropa University. And a little background on that: the Art of Living High podcast has a mission to share what I'm learning about creating a life that focuses on cultivating high frequency vibrations and making how you feel the most important thing. Because I've learned that it is from here only that I can experience my purpose of embodying and sharing unconditional love with the world. Now, for me, this is a very important endeavor, as I believe this is ultimately the divine path for all sentient beings, which we live many lifetimes getting to learn how to do. Each podcast opens with a song and closes with a song that makes me feel good. And then there's a little explanation about how the song is related to the theme of the topic of each podcast episode. Every episode's topic is relevant to the overall theme of my podcast, which is exploring the creation of a life that's focused on high frequency vibrations, which ultimately means living a life you love completely, one in which your heart opens and expands and your soul's desires are fulfilled. So my podcast will highlight important points of this paper, where I share what I've learned and experienced about the transformational power of this certain teacher and his lineage, and the specific yoga practices and disciplines he emphasized that are less commonly known and utilized in the world of contemporary yoga. I touch lightly on my learning and actual experience of the globalization of yoga, and how I have found it quite remarkable that despite the evidence of the numerous benefits that exist, Sanskrit study as a tool for meditation and an avenue of access to anahata nada. These disciplines of Nada Yoga and their teachers remain somewhat undiscovered and under the radar in the modern yoga movement. Part of my mission is to help to create a shift so that the appreciation and awareness of high frequency, high vibration teachers and practices that bring nothing but pure positive energy continues to grow, so that more love is experienced in the world. The podcast speaks a bit about how, despite the decades of exploration of many aspects, styles, practices, teachers, experiences of yoga, until a few months ago, I had no knowledge that the study of Sanskrit could be engaged as an essential tool for meditation and a life-changing discipline of Nada Yoga that connects one to anahata nada, the stream of cosmic consciousness. While this is a term I have known about for a long time and had a strong desire to understand and experience more deeply, I had no clue that anahata nada and Sanskrit study were or could be so intimately linked. I also had no idea until I was immersed in it fully how much my heart, spirit, and mind needed these discoveries for me, they have value beyond measure and are creating endless experiences of high frequency living. In the podcast, I share a bit about my journey, of how I landed in this research and why. There's a little discussion about the grueling yet weirdly addicting year of studying Sanskrit in a graduate program with two different excellent professors who are both scholars and Sanskritists, along with an initially large group of eager students, and speaks a bit to the depletion, exhaustion, and hopeless feelings that were arising despite a great deal of effort and time and study of this language. So much so that I didn't think I could continue. Despite getting fine grades and understanding the concepts presented, I was not able to retain the information, committed lots of what I had I lost much of what I had committed to memory, so forgetting all that I worked hard to memorize. And this led to questioning my mind, my health, my brain's capacity on the regular. And there was very obvious awareness that I could not keep up at this pace and with this intensity. Yet I didn't want to give up all that I had already invested in this pursuit of learning the sacred language. I found myself questioning why I was bothering, losing inspiration, and feeling great tension and stress, which caused more questioning about whether it was reasonable and why I was even bothering to continue this pursuit in the first place. I also spend a little time talking about how this research and discovery process allowed me to come to an understanding that I was one of many students having this struggle with the study of Sanskrit. As I watched, in my experience, class enrollment drop from 25 people to 5 people to 2 people, I knew for sure I was not alone, but I didn't know a lot about the reasons why so many dropped out from this incredible journey of learning Sanskrit. In speaking with these teachers and other students and exploring a great deal of research and articles that speak to these points, I was finding myself supported, knowing that others were looking for these answers and better ways to pursue this Sanskrit study. So on this journey, this great discovery of Sri Brahmananda Saraswati, his approach to the study of Sanskrit, using it as a tool for meditation to access Anahata Nada, all disciplines of Nada Yoga, has become one of the greatest gifts in my life so far. Not only did this community of teachers and students and the whole new world that I've discovered open my heart wider than ever before, it also helped to heal aspects of my delusional mind, supporting my overall well-being immensely. It was as if I passed through a portal to find a family of folks with similar loves that were all kind, honest, generous, open to making mistakes, supporting and forgiving each other and ourselves, with a compassionate, warm, loving feel in every session. I was once again feeling the goodness of Sanskrit and why I came to the study of this sacred language. I found Sanskrit and learning the language to be a great love in my life. And at a time where great shifts were being experienced and grief and loss became quite heavy to hold. Sanskrit, not a yoga